No, dude. All right, my wife is sitting right here, and she gave me the death stare because that clap was so fucking loud. All right,
Why is your wife sitting right there?
she's working.
Why didn't she say
She works way more than I do.
in the same room?
Yeah, in the office, in the crypto garage.
The crypto garage.
Wait. I want to change that. Let's call it the vault, the crypto vault. That's what I'm going to call
The
it.
crypto vault.
I would really like to know how the math actually works out there between the cost of all the stuff, the cost of the electricity,
Mm-hmm.
and the cooling of the house in the summertime compared to what it makes.
Yeah, well, I didn't have as much going in the summertime. I've built it up kind of over the holidays, so it wasn't this hot in the summertime. I'll have to address that when we get there. But as of right now, it's nice because it heats the house. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the Hit Factor. This is the Hit Factor in 2022. This is our first recorded episode of the new year. We've just wrapped up Christmas, and it's actually been a few weeks since our chat with Brian from Hunters HD Gold.
Mm-hmm.
So, first off, what are you guys drinking tonight? Well, I know that Jeff is. What do you got, Jeff? And your little copper. What is that thing?
I am drinking water out of a copper water bottle deal that I got for Christmas.
Oh yeah, this is our first. This is gonna be on YouTube if Jeff can figure out how to put it on YouTube. So this will be our first actually video to go out, so you guys get to see Jeff's weird little copper mug. And I'm not gonna make any comments about it further than that. But
you were gonna say it was phallic, weren't you?
Nope, wasn't gonna do it.
You were. I saw it.
I was not gonna do it. I don't know why you would come to that assumption, Jeff, that you would think I would describe it in that manner. There's definitely no way I would do that. So okay, so you have water. What's up with that?
It's dry January, so no alcohol for January.
So are you afraid that you're an alcoholic?
No, it was the wife's idea. And I just...
Oh, so she thinks you're an alcoholic.
Maybe. But I just she brought it up, and I was like, maybe it's a good opportunity to prove to myself that I'm not an alcoholic. So let's do this. She also wanted to do no dairy, but dairy's like 50% of my diet, so I'm not doing that.
If my wife suggested that, she could sleep on the couch that night. I'm not giving up my milk. That's just not happening.
So yeah, dry January, drinking water.
Okay, I mean that's probably healthy.
I'm having lemonade because I've been sick, so I've not been drinking alcohol this last week.
Well, that's sad for both of you guys. I actually have, I have. Well, we can show that since we can show it on video now. That's cool. I have eggnog. I have my last bit of eggnog from Christmas leftovers. It's like, well, I'll finish that off tonight. So I got all the dairy and the sugar and the alcohol all in one glorious cup of very rich, dense juice.
Oh my goodness. Sounds so good.
You're jealous of that, aren't you?
Yes, I am. You got that big eggnog
all right,
stash
so,
going on.
Did you have good Christmases?
I did.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. I got everything my heart desired. Can y'all not hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know.
Can hear me?
What's wrong with Jeremy?
What's Jeremy doing? He's like staring into the abyss.
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll be back in a minute. Jared, tell me about your Christmas.
Well, I didn't do too much, so worked. Christmas was like a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think I had Christmas Eve and Christmas and through the Monday off. So went and spent some time with my family back home.
Nice.
But otherwise, didn't do too much.
Yeah, but you went home for the holidays,
I did.
or do you can still consider like your parents' home?
Well, yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I
Really?
grew up. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, did you get all the socks and underwear you needed?
Every pair.
Good. Good.
I did get some of those Apple AirTags, those little trackers
Oh
for
yeah, I've seen
my.
those.
Yeah, I wanted one for my range bag to see how it tracks when I'm flying.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Hmm. Yeah, that'd be good. Cool. I got the stop box stuff. You've seen those? The guy that designed them was he used to do a lot of competitive shooting, which is why I started following him like a long time ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I started following him on social media because he was a limited shooter and he did a lot of shooting. And then he kind of quit shooting for a while. And then when he came back on the scene, like a year or two later, he had started this company called Stopbox USA.
Not
And
familiar with it at all. What
yeah,
do they make?
so they make like security boxes for like your pistol.
Oh
It
yeah,
like
yeah.
sits on your nightstand, and it's got
They're
like
cool.
the finger locks. You know, it's like you set the combination for your fingers. It's all mechanical. There's no electronics in it, and you like squeeze it with the pattern that you designate to flip it open and grab your gun. And they've got a chamber lock for an AR and a shotgun too. So I got the stop box for the pistol, and then I got the chamber lock for the AR too. Um, so those are cool. I was excited to get those. And it's also cool to support somebody who I started following because of the sport. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, those are awesome. Like they don't secure your gun like from theft. Like they're not for that at all. It's basically so like if you have little kids or something like that, they cannot. It's a way for you to easily access your weapon,
Mhm.
but they can't access it, right? Like
Yeah,
like they're not gonna figure it out. At
yeah,
least not. I mean, not easily. I won't say they
because
can't figure it out, but not easily.
yeah, to do it like quickly, you gotta have like a pretty strong hand, I think,
Yeah.
to do it quickly. Like if if you had time, you could do it with two hands and figure it out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that and my copper water bottle.
Yeah, that's a cool water bottle. Very
Thank
cool.
you, thank you,
Yeah.
Jeremy. What did you guys do for the holidays?
We stayed home. My brother came up and I cooked. He bought it, but I cooked beef tenderloin, and that was kind of cool. Actually, my favorite part of it. Some people are gonna. My brother got kind of mad because there are kind of some end pieces, and he wanted me to just fold it over and like wrap it in a string and smoke the whole thing. But I said I don't want to do that, so I chopped off like the little end trimming pieces, and then I cubed them up real small and lightly battered them and fried them, just kind of as like little appetizer pieces. And man, that was so good. Like you don't really
Mm.
think of frying beef tenderloin because it's like you don't want to chicken fry it, but having
Yeah.
just like the small trimmings of it is like a half a pound, maybe 3/4 of a pound. Uh, kind of all it was that was good. It was really good. So I was happy with that. My kid got gobs of toys from everybody.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
it's just like Toys Central, right? Like everybody wants to get them toys, and that's fine. We just got to get rid of other old toys so that there's room. I got him well, it kind of came from Santa, but I got him like he like the day before Christmas, he started walking around with like an extension cord and using it like a rope, like a lasso. And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, I guess that's a good idea. So I should go get him one. So I went to I mean, I live in Texas. There's like Western's, like a saddle shop store, and they literally have a wall, like a 10-foot wall that's nothing but ropes. It's like 10 feet of it, like, and so they had like these little kiddie ropes that are, I don't know, it's like 20 feet long, but it's like pretty loose and limp, and he's been terrorizing everything he can with that.
Is the dog getting roped?
The dog has been roped, yes. The funnest thing was actually he likes to get roped, and so then like you rope him, and then he acts like he's a wild bull or a horse, and he just like he's like on all fours on the floor, just going absolute nuts. It's it's hilarious. At least it is to me. I think other people would find it funny, but I don't know. Like it's always funny. Like some people think your kids are really cool, but most of the time they don't think they're people don't think they're as cool as you think they are.
Yeah,
But that's okay. Uh,
yeah, that's true.
we
Other
just got
people's
back
kids
from
are
a ski trip, and that was fun. It was his first time. He's 3, he just turned 3, and so I I skied with him for like 3 days,
mm,
and that was pretty fun.
nice. Did he do pretty good?
Yeah. I mean, like it's a weird sensation, like to just slide and not really
Yeah,
have control of what you're doing, and so like so there are moments where he's kind of like freaking out, like, "Hey, this is weird. This is new."
yeah.
But then other times he was great and had lots of fun with it. So
Awesome.
and there went my internet connection
I
again.
can still
What
see you.
the
I can
crap?
still see you.
We can still see you.
I mean, I can still hear you. You're frozen. Um. Okay. You want to let's go ahead and dive into our primary topic here that we've been skirting around for weeks, months, which is the BOD. Yes, so I'm sure everyone's aware of all the drama that's been going on, and the it's just like a giant picture of our current political system. I don't know. It's just really weird how these things work, and everything looks the same. Uh, anyway, the USPSA BOD has been doing some questionable things by most people's standards, um, and a lot of people are talking about it. Ben has been going freaking crazy on it. Uh, I gotta say, like, this has probably been the most entertaining stint of like I've been following Ben since I started shooting. Like he's like the very first person I found, right? Like this may be the most entertaining of the last 5 years, to follow Ben. He's just been going nuts. Um, yeah. Anyway, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Who would like to go first?
Let's hear Jared's thoughts on it. I'm sure he has a
Yeah.
lot to say.
Well, I'm sticking with same as what I said earlier, and that the board members that I've met and know, I can disagree with the approach that we've had on things. I think it's a mistake that we haven't had a special election yet, and I don't agree with trying to change the bylaws early on. I really don't think anybody on the board is got some evil plan to do it. I think they legitimately believe they're trying to do something for the best reasons. I just don't agree with the approach. But like you said, it's a good example of our entire political climate in the U.S. Is that it got so far in the weeds so quickly that it doesn't matter what either side has to say. Both sides are completely entrenched and don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that was a very grown up way of saying it, Jared.
Like
Very
I'll be honest, like the the BOD's actions, like they don't make sense to me. Like they straight up don't make sense because Jared, you said like you think that they're doing what they think is best for the sport, but like if there's this weird power grab that they're trying to grab this power because they're afraid if Hopkins is going to come in, and then if Hopkins gets elected president, then Ben will have power through Hopkins uh, to
yeah.
to ruin the sport, which like if you think that, then you don't actually know Matt Hawkins very well, because like Matt and Ben are buddies, but Matt is not Ben's whipping boy. Like he's not like Ben's errand boy. Like Matt is a very smart guy that is going to think for himself, who has been very invested in this sport for a very long time. And I don't like, I can't think of somebody that I would trust more in this sport to be a caretaker of the sport. I wish he was my area director. So, like with that being
Yeah.
said, like the moves that the board is making to reduce the office of the presidency, the power of that, and then also like they're going to make all these changes to the bylaws, and then within those changes, they're going to make it a lot harder to change the bylaws. It's like it's so strange from a nonprofit. They're in non-paid positions. I don't understand the moves that they're making. It simply doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I'll say like I did send a letter. Like if you guys have not seen on our social media, I did send a letter to my area director and all the other area directors. That's been, I don't know, it's at least 10 days. I'd have to go back and look at the timestamp. It's been at least 10 days as of when we're recording this. And I got one canned response from Area 8, which I live in Area 4. That was the only response. It was just said, "Thank you for your input," or something like that. That was it.
Yeah, it was like, thank you for including me on this message to your area director.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. And so then I posted that. I put a screenshot of that to our social media page, and my area director then felt the need to go in and make a sarcastic comment onto that rather than actually respond to the email. And like, I'm quite frankly, I'm done with my area director. I don't think Chad Stanton needs to be an area director anymore in the future. Like if that's how he feels about it, like he just thinks it's great and it's funny, and if he cannot take criticism, because that's all I can see is that he cannot, like he is incapable of taking any sort of criticism, then like you're in the wrong position. Like you shouldn't be in that position. And there's been other weird things where Chad has made up lies about stuff that Matt has said, and like you go back and watch the videos that Chad references, and it's like, no, that's not what Matt said. Like you're just making up lies to try to make yourself look better, and like I don't have any patience for that. I know you guys maybe you guys are buddies with Chad, and that's fine. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I don't think he needs to be in that position anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's exactly like what Jared was saying, right? It's like you don't really. God damn, that was loud. It's like you don't really have a problem with these guys individually, you know, or personally, but I think what it is, I don't know. My opinion is that this is these positions have become increasingly political, and this is like the first time USPSA has been this polarized and political since I've been in it anyway. Like maybe in the past it has been, but it has obviously never been as big as it is now. And you know, as things grow, they become more polarizing and political because there's more people with more opinions. And I think we're starting to see who's good at politics and who's not. Yeah, so I just think who we've got in there right now, you know, when they got in there, it wasn't really a super political thing, and now it is way more so. And like Jeremy said, like there's just some weird stuff going on. Yeah, it just really feels like, whether this is true or not, it does feel like, oh, Matt's coming in here, he's gonna do something we don't want, so let's do this thing. And I think they kind of thought they could get away with it because it hasn't been this political in the past. And now people are freaking out about it because they just straight up ignored the bylaws and decided they were going to change them. It's like, well, what's the freaking point of having bylaws?
Yeah.
Um, if you're just going to completely ignore them and rewrite them when you're supposed to follow them, like, it's horrendous. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I like. Well, first, I'll be the first to say, like, I hate the drama. Like, I freaking hate drama. Like, it's not something that I like to have. I don't want it in our sport. Like, I hate it. Like, there are people that are like, we're losing people who've been involved in the sport because they're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, there's just too much drama. But as far as how it became political, because the first 7 years I was involved in the sport, maybe 5 or 6 years, like, not this it was not this political. I mean, like, there was, yeah, you had some drama, like when Phil was president, and then obviously the drama that came in with Foley being president, and we can kind of go into some of that stuff. But honestly, it's become so political in the last couple of years because they have made so many changes to the sport. Like, it used to not be like the BOD was, nobody really cared who the BOD was because they weren't changing the bylaws every 2 months. They weren't adding new divisions and changing division rules every 6 months. Like, they weren't making all these massive changes to the sport. The BOD was basically, hey, you go run your area match, and then every once in a while you might have to make some sort of day-to-day decision about the organization. But there wasn't like all this just massive changes all the time. And then here in the last few years, like, they've just felt we got to make all these changes to the sport. And anytime you're going to make massive changes to a sport that's been somewhat steady for I mean, the sport has always been evolving, but it had been somewhat steady for quite a while. And you're all of a sudden making all these changes, like, you're gonna polarize people, especially whenever you make those changes and you get zero input from anybody before you make those changes.
Yeah, other than your yes men around you.
Right. Like, I mean, I guess at least before they made these massive changes to the bylaws, like, it's crazy to me how much they literally are just rewriting the whole sport with what they're doing with the bylaws. It's crazy to me how many changes they're making. It's not like, hey, can we just make one change at a time and then, like, because, like, if you're trying to make a comment on it, unless you got 4 hours to sit down and comment on every single change that they made, like, you can't even address everything. And at least I guess at least they open it up for a comment period this time, because I think that they've been fairly lambasted with, hey, you're doing all these changes and we don't have the representation in a president that we should have. We don't have an elected president. And I'm sorry, but they are way out of line to make all these massive changes to the sport without the members having adequate representation there.
Yeah, and they would argue that our representation is our area director, which
That is one,
true.
but the president is also an elected position, so he is also our representative too, and he has a vote on the board.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing crazy stuff. Crazy talk.
So
the two main things being making the presidential position a part-time position that is not a president anymore, right? Is that what it is?
basically, they've removed a lot of the powers of the presidential office, and this is what they've proposed, and it's been a minute since I've read it, so I'm not going to get everything right. And they would making a managing director or some sort of other director that they would appoint somebody into that would have really the managing powers of the sport, and the presidential position is you organize, like, the president's position is to organize nationals and to travel to all of the national and world events that USPSA is a part of within the U.S. and World Shoots outside of it. I think Matt said he added up. It was like over 72 days of travel.
That's an awful lot for a part-time job.
Yeah, for a part-time job, like that makes it impossible to have another job. Like so they've made that, they've neutered that position to the point that you have to be. There's the only way you can take that is if basically you're retired. Like that's basically, and
Yeah.
so which the problem is, like they're making, to me it's like you're screwing over the organization for the future, like because you're trying to keep one person out. Like they're just trying to just, like, it seems very obvious, maybe this is not the case, but it seems very obvious that they made that position such that, oh, Matt Hopkins won't want to apply for this now. Like, I mean, that's, I can't, after reading was it Bruce one? Was he the one that had the leaked email about we got to get all this stuff changed before Hopkins get in? I can't remember which. It was one of the Bruces, right? And it's like whenever you have that come out, like we've got to make all these changes before Matt gets in, and then all of a sudden you see all these changes come out. It's like, okay, well, we have to kind of take you at your word at this point that you're making all these changes to the sport to keep out the person that the majority of the sports probably would elect as president. That seems very disingenuous to me.
Well, and that's why it comes back to, there might not be a problem with wanting to make these changes. The problem is making these changes without an elected president.
Yeah.
Trying to push these through quickly without member feedback. I mean, thankfully they did push out their proposed changes and give us a chance to respond to them, which I'm sure both of you did the same. But like, I went through them and I actually made notes on the changes of what I didn't like and what was okay, and sent it back to all the area directors as well as the president.
And did you get any response?
I did. My area director replied to me.
So Matt Hopkins replied to you.
And
yeah.
I think most people probably already know this, but it's a little funnier because I do work with Matt, so we work at the same place, so I do talk to him on a very regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of access to your area director.
I do. But one thing that stood out to me on all of it too was that I like to think on the positive side that it's not all instantly going to, evil plans here or anything. That I think they made a mistake with Foley and they're swinging way too far to the other side to try to prevent it from happening again. But I read it like they're swinging back to the issues they had with the last ED with Kim.
Right.
And where they really need to end up is somewhere in the middle. But the way everything's been approached is everybody's at each other's throats. There is no middle ground right now. And like you said, the drama has gotten pretty over the top.
Yeah. So, I mean, so to me at that point, like, if that's where we're at, like everybody's so polarized, then let's just put a hold on making any changes right now, because if that's the case, then nobody's thinking clearly. So then let's put a hold on making any changes. Let's run our election in a timely manner, like should have already happened. We still don't even know when it's going to happen. Let's go ahead and get that done, and let's kind of get the organization back to stable again. Like that's the thing. Like they're trying to put everything on Foley. Like, hey, we've got to change this because Foley ran off the rails. They were lockstep with Foley the whole way. Like they gave him, like, they rewrote Foley's job to look like it was. They gave him all the incentives that they gave him, all the bonuses that they gave him, and they have yet to take any ownership of that. They're just trying to blame it all on Foley, and quite frankly, yeah, maybe Foley was the wrong person for the job. I think we can probably all agree that he probably was the wrong person for the job, but the board also poorly managed him. Like they did not manage him the way that they should have. Maybe if they had managed him properly, maybe he could have at least finished his term and not had to get kicked out. but they didn't do that, and that may be a step too far.
I think so.
But
I think so.
but like, yeah, like it wasn't better. Like I don't know if people remember when Kim was the executive director. Like it wasn't exactly good then. Like like that was pretty well a disaster as well. We had a question asking about like our reactions to the uh, Ben's podcast with Strader.
Yeah.
They had a long conversation with Strader, and like there were like Strader got beat up quite a bit when he was president. Like there were issues, but it was a part-time. It was a part-time position that required full-time attention, and he didn't have it. Like he has a family. He's got a wife and 2 kids, at least 2 kids. Maybe he's got 3. I don't know. I know he's got at least 2 kids. I think 2 boys. Sorry, Phil, if you listen to this and I got it wrong. Like he lives in like New England or something, so who cares? But like he was not being compensated for a full-time position. They're asking him to work as if it's a full-time position, and it's like, well, yeah, he's not going to be able to do a good job. Like, how do you expect him to do a good job? And yet, I think if Phil had been able to give his full attention to that job, like I think he could have been really, really good at it. Because I think he's done well at his job at SIG. You know, Phil had some ideas for the sport which were a bit polarizing as far as, you know, like he wanted to get the sport more mainstream. He kind of wanted to. He was in that kind of wanting to have the push to get it to like an Olympic type sport. He was kind of in step with that. I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds there. Like he wanted to buy USSA in Tulsa because it became available around the time that he was president, and he wanted to buy it to be a central headquarters for our sport. And yeah, there was some polarization there that some people would be like, no, we don't want that, and some people, yeah, we do want that, but otherwise, like he was trying to do good stuff for the sport, and when he got pushback on those things, like they didn't buy USSA. It's not like he just said, well, this was my agenda, so we're going to do this. He got a bunch of pushbacks, like, okay, I guess we won't do that. Even though that was what he wanted to do, he kind of realized, hey, that's not what everybody else wants to do, so we shouldn't do that. And so then you end up with Foley, and we overpay somebody who's way underqualified, and obviously somebody with rage issues that just doesn't know how to treat people with respect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think one of the more important parts there, though, is that even back then it was not a part-time position, and I don't want to see it go back to part-time position. Even if we do need a second type of office managing position or something, I do think the president should be a full-time position. It doesn't have to pay insane money, but it has to pay enough that someone can do it as a full-time job.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just think it's good for an organization like this to have a representative, to have a face that's fully invested, you know. Yeah, I don't know, just saying that the president of an organization this big is a part-time employee. I don't know, it just seems very unprofessional to me.
I don't see how anyone could do it as a part-time position. Like, I mean, I don't have kids or anything, and even between my work, if I was trying to do that part-time for 20 or 30 hours a week or whatever it would actually take, like I would not have any more time. I wouldn't even have time to shoot.
Yeah.
It's just an insane when you think about it. Like,
it is.
Most of us are working. By the time you count commuting to and from work and stuff, most of us are working, you know, probably closer to 50 hours a week. We're gone or more. But you had another 20 or 30 for that. You know, that's 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Starting to get to be a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. And all it does is it just removes power from the membership. Like that's all it does. By weakening that position, it moves power from the membership, because it's not like they don't have the money to pay for a full-time president. Look at all the positions that they've paid. But I mean, we have a social media director making 6 figures that has zero background in social media, and he's the only thing that I see that he does in social media is that he just reposts anything that anybody else posts. Like, it's not like he's producing any content. It's just posting any video that anybody else posts. I'm just gonna repost it. Okay, like, I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, but not exactly a 6-figure job.
No.
For what's being done there. Like, there's several positions at headquarters like that are like, okay, this seems like we're probably overpaying some positions here that I don't know, like, was this just somebody's buddy, like, that they needed to hire, that they wanted to hire? Seems it's kind of strange.
I won't jump too far though into the actual positions that have job roles at headquarters, like the IT guy. I know a qualified IT professional is going to be expensive, especially where they're headquartered out of. And he is doing a lot in the backside that we might not necessarily see, like with the updates to the website for renewing your membership and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff, I think it all falls under his plate of things he's doing. So, and I don't know what they're paying him, but you start talking the state of Washington, a qualified IT guy is probably a 6-figure job anywhere, if it's anything above, like, entry-level stuff.
Does our website really require anything more than, like, a contract to, like, hey, go set up our website, and then, okay, now it's set up? Like, the website's not exactly great.
And I mean, I wouldn't doubt that the organization has enough going on IT-wise for that position to be busy.
Yep. I don't want to jump to a conclusion that it's, not paid. It's paid too much or anything, is what I'm saying. I think there's a lot more on the back end that we don't see there.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and, like, I mean, if we have the money, we're a nonprofit. Like, if we have the money and you can hire somebody that's qualified to do a job and do it really well, like, I have no problem with that. But it's weird that, like, it'd be one thing if the organization was struggling financially, like, hey, we just cannot pay a president this much. Like, we just cannot. Like, we can't afford to pay him that much, so we have to go part-time. That is not the position that USPSA is in. It's purely political.
Oh, and I would, we're talking about, like, paying the president. I would personally say, like I said, it should pay enough that someone can do it as a full-time job, but it shouldn't pay so much that there's a ton of underqualified people that are like, this would be a really good job.
Yeah.
I don't think it probably shouldn't pay 150 or 60K a year. That's to the point where people who probably aren't really good for it would start going after it just because of the pay. Or if it was paying, say, like 100, someone who's going to be good for the job would be treating it like a position of service.
I mean, the pay scale. I mean, it's very interesting what the pay scale is, and how bonus is structured and stuff like that. Like, I'm okay with the president making money. Like if you get somebody that's well qualified in there, I would almost rather see it be hey, there's a minimum floor. Like, the president's it's gonna be a full-time job. The minimum floor is going to be $85,000 a year. Okay. Say you have somebody that gets elected that has lots of experience, like lots of business experience. They're coming in and they're bringing a lot to the table, and they're worth $120,000 a year. Okay, give them that. Like, if they're qualified for it, then give them that. If it's Jeff that's coming, I'll just use myself. If I'm coming in, I have all my career experiences as a self-employed pistol smith, and I've got 10 years in the sport. Like, I don't have any experience running a nonprofit. Well, then paying me, why would you pay me $120,000 a year? Whereas if you had somebody that they've run 3 nonprofits and done them successfully in the past.
Are you kidding? You've gotten people to give you thousands of dollars for antique pistols that you've had to work on for them.
That's true.
You
That's
should
true.
get extra.
That is true. I probably should. But then have bonus structures. I mean, you can have bonus structures in it. And I'm okay with that. I think you need to be careful. I think that was part of where we got with Foley, is that the bonus structure was on member numbers, is my understanding. And so then his main focus became, let's get these member numbers up because then I'm going to get a big bonus for it. And like, maybe there should be some like, how is the member satisfaction with the sport, and maybe some of your bonuses based off that. What is
one of the core functions of the president is nationals.
Yeah.
So maybe you have a survey after nationals and say, what's the member satisfaction of the people who shot nationals? What's your satisfaction with it? If it's really good, then maybe there's a bonus for the president. If it's really bad, then nothing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a great idea. Like, hey, we're gonna give, if the president gets a 90% support of his job here at Nationals, he's gonna get a $10,000 bonus at the end of the year. So, and you that shot Nationals, y'all get to vote on that. That president would be very motivated to make that Nationals awesome.
Yeah.
Like I would be willing to bet that'd be one of the better Nationals we've ever shot if that was on the line. And USPSA has the money to do that, so do it. Like, why not? Like that, like, to me, like things like that are like, why don't we do stuff like that? I don't understand. It's I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I think we are probably all mostly equally frustrated with the board and the massive bylaw changes to the bylaw, the lack of having a president in place, an elected president in place. At this point, I don't know how far we are removed from when Foley was removed, but it's been a while.
But it's definitely, kind of like we touched on earlier, it makes people not want to be involved here when this kind of stuff that seems so shady is going on. And even for someone like myself, I'm pretty invested in this sport. And every year I invest more in this sport. I invest my time in this podcast. I invest money in traveling to matches. I invest a lot here. If it gets this shady, like, why would I keep doing this?
Yeah,
I will quit. I will 100% quit. I'm not above that. Like, my identity isn't tied to this. I don't need this. I do this for fun. But if it's not fun, and they're gonna make it miserable, and and be the way that they are being, I'll be gone. I'm not sticking around for it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that will relate to that sentiment. And I think that's where a lot of frustrations, where a lot of people are coming from, is they are afraid that they're not just mad that the sport's not going the way they want. They're afraid that the sport is going to go away. Like, this is just going to be destroyed because of how it's being run right now.
And then, making the president and everybody answer to the board, and then making it difficult to change anything with these new bylaws, with the 3/4 majority and everything. Like, we can get it done, right? We can get it done over the next few to several years, but the sport will be handicapped until that can happen, right? Mm-hmm. So for the next 4 years or something, we're handicapped. That's plenty of time for the thing to die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say this, like, if other qualified people are gonna run, which I know of two in two different areas for sure. The current sitting board members, I don't see them keeping their seats at the next elections.
Yeah, I don't either, but this thing could crumble quite a ways.
Right. Yeah, it could be irrevocably damaged by that time. But I definitely would, if the board members are wanting to stay board members, They're not showing. They're not making that very evident that they want to stay in their positions. From where I'm sitting, at least,
Yeah.
I don't see how they're going to keep their spots unless just nobody in their areas wants to run.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised there wasn't some sort of change making it more difficult to run for area director, honestly.
Well, they did. I mean, like you have to be a life member, right? What was it? That gum. Sasquatch sneezes and it's like the world hears it. Uh, you have to be like a life member prior to running. Is that right for area director?
Yeah, and I think you used to just have to be life after you were elected.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, I don't know. I find that it's like, what's the point of that? Like, I don't understand. The
Right.
the they get more money on yearly memberships, like per year, because the life is what, $500?
Man, they'll make more off life because most people are in and out of the sport within 5 years.
Well, yeah, but the person running for area director is not going to be. I mean, I guess maybe if they lose the election, maybe they'd be out of the sport sooner.
I'm
but
sure the principle of the matter was just having someone who was, that dedicated that enough to.
Well, I think it was to make sure that they remained a member through their entire term. Is the idea.
Really? Just gonna let it lapse.
Right.
I'm a director, but not a member.
Right.
You would think a membership, like if you got elected, they would be like, okay, we'll go ahead and include your membership since you hold
Yeah.
this position, right?
I mean, the area director is a volunteer position. Like I would think, yeah, you just get a free you get a free life membership if you get elected as area director because you're donating all your time to the
Yeah.
sport to do that.
So that's why I tend to think it was like a principle of the matter, like someone that shows a little bit of dedication to it or something.
Yeah, I guess I don't know it. I found it a little strange to me.
Yeah, very strange, very weird, very frustrating. I got a question for you guys here.
Let's hear it.
Are we done talking about this? 'Cause I could be done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Okay.
Sasquatch
be
was
done.
done 20 minutes ago.
I have been very disconnected on this topic just because it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you are frustrated as well, contact your area director. Show some support for the area directors that you do support or the ones that you want to get elected. So, don't lay by the side and do nothing if you do care about the sport.
Yeah, do contact them. Your message will get thrown in the trash and they will disregard it completely. But go ahead and contact them. That way you can say that you did.
Right. Yeah.
And CC readpistolsmithing@gmail.com.
There you go.
That's fine.
Yes. Okay.
Wait. Hold on. Before we finish this, the one comment I want to make is that I have not heard anybody other than an area director come out like that wasn't mad about all of this. Like, so like if there's somebody out there that's like, yes, I love the fact that they're making all these changes to the bylaws and that they're neutering the president's position. Like I think that's great for the sport. Like I have heard zero people make that statement. So if you are one of those persons, I'd love to hear from you because I would like to hear if there is anybody in that camp. Like, cause I have not seen or heard that anywhere. So if you're of the other side, I'd like to hear from you.
I think I saw a comment from somebody that was a yes man.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't a like I'm in favor of this change and this change and this change. It was just a like screw the howler monkeys and just keep doing what you're doing kind of comment, right? It was one of those. It was a supporter of somebody who was on the BOD, I'm sure. But yeah, it was just kind of a keep doing what you're doing and ignore the haters kind of deal. But yeah, I have seen a comment or two of those types. Okay, so we got our short little for our small community of Discordians. I think there's like 5 of us in here.
Oh, I should join.
You can't. It's locked up. It's
Oh,
a tight
darn.
club. You can only get in on special occasions. Um,
We
Darn.
should probably keep Sasquatch out, quite frankly.
are you really not in here, Sasquatch?
No.
Son of a bitch.
Of course he's not.
Okay. Well, we have a thread on here for questions, not discussion, just questions. So we'll just do maybe 1 or 2 in here. Let me find one that would be kind of short, you know. How's this one? What's your favorite grip enhancer?
Okay, I'll go first. I like the double alpha grip enhancer. I think it's the exact same stuff as the Pro Grip, but the container is a little more convenient.
Oh,
How,
interesting.
how so?
Well, the that weird pop-up lid that the old Pro Grip bottles had on it
Yeah.
never seemed to work very well.
Oh, okay. So what is the...
Just like a normal flip cap, like shampoo or something would have on it.
Okay. Is it less tacky than other ones?
I don't know how you describe it. It's like it dries quickly. It's like the same stuff as Pro Grip.
Okay. All right. Jeremy.
I just use Pro Grip, the one that comes in the phallic bottle.
Oh.
That I'm sure that stuff could be like made, like you could probably make it like for way cheap, because I don't think it's like, I think there's like only a couple ingredients in it. Like I think you could probably figure it out and make it way cheaper. But I just buy that. I don't run through it all that quick, even though I use it. Like every time I shoot, I use it, but I don't run through it all that much. So that's what I use. I don't like the spray, the Pro Grip spray. I don't like so much. So I like the gel. I've tried other stuff, but the reason for me for using Pro Grip, which is it's a little overly tacky. Like I almost wish it was a little, just slightly less tacky, but if you're in humid conditions, Talladega, Florida, places like that, like I can get basically the same grip conditions with Pro Grip that I can with it when I'm in the desert where I live, basically.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it.
If we had a Hit Factor branded grip enhancer, would you use it
If it was good.
if it was good? Man.
So there's some other grip enhancers out there that are, I'm not gonna like list any by name. There's some that like they dry your hands, but they make your hands just kind of chalky. And they almost they dry your hands. They almost make them slicker. I haven't been in favor of. I haven't liked those personally.
Which one's that? I want that one.
So you might like. Is it Champ? It's actually I was given to it by a World Shoot team member from the Philippines. Champ.
Is it like the white looking bottle?
I
Probably
don't
not all
know.
white. Is it phallic?
No.
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 Oh.
It's like Champ
Probably
Grip
wouldn't like it.
Enhancer, Champ Grip or Champion Grip or something like that. You might would have liked it.
Yeah, maybe. I use rosin chalk. Yeah, I don't use any of the squirty kinds, the liquid kinds, and it's because of the tackiness. Like I can't stand it. I can't get used to it. I started with the rosin stuff. It's just like in a little shaker, like a salt shaker kind of. You like twist the top and it like comes out like baby powder almost. But it's ground up rosin powder, and it's only stabbed me in the back once at a match where, because if it rains, like you are royally screwed. Okay, like your hands get slimy, like really bad. So I actually do usually carry some sort of liquid Pro Grip because like in the wet, when it's really wet, like nobody's shooting super awesome if it's wet out, right? Like it impedes your vision and your grip and grabbing magazines. Like everything kind of sucks if you're shooting in the rain. So I kind of go off of that. It's like, and I don't really practice with Pro Grip, but I know if it's raining, I'm not gonna suck that much worse than everybody else in the rain, using a grip enhancer that I don't normally use. And it's gonna be way better than trying to use my freaking rosin powder and just get my hands all slimy. But yeah, normally I just use the rosin, the ground up rosin powder, and I get it on Amazon. Yeah, it's just the little salt shaker bottles. I think it's like $7 or $8 a bottle. I usually go through like 3 a year maybe. Yeah, but I use it for dry fire, live fire, matches, everything.
Have you ever tried Liquid Grip? It comes like a blue and black bottle.
Maybe, I don't know. I've
I
tried
did.
like 7 of them.
I've tried it. Too lotiony. Didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like the Liquid Grip. I mean, it was okay for practice, but it sounds like something Jeff might like.
That's like the one. It's like way more chalky, right? Like it's way
Yep.
more white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I would prefer more. I did carry some of that for a while. But yeah, that's me. I don't normally use liquid grip enhancers, though I was thinking about trying it again this year, trying to get used to it for that reason that Jeremy said, is that he can recreate the same grip conditions no matter where he's at, in the country, which is harder to do with the powder.
Yeah.
Because if it's if it's very dry, it's easy. But if you're like, shooting in Oklahoma in the summer, you got to use a lot of it to try to get your hands dry. Like you got to
Yeah.
use a lot, and it's a mess. I get it on everything. I usually feel bad when I'm putting it on around people because I'm just like, it's just like a
So
cloud,
bad.
cloud around me. But it's what I've always used, and so I keep using it. Yeah,
It's terrible.
yeah, that's what I have used. I don't know. I just can't get used to the tackiness, man, of the like how do you adjust when you like miss a grip on a draw? Like you can't move your hand.
You don't miss.
You don't miss.
I don't believe that about either one of you.
Well, I mean, that's like you try to not miss. But I also my right hand, I don't put it like on the palm of my right hand. I mostly on my right hand. I mostly only want it on the back of my right hand and maybe
Yeah.
a little bit on my fingertips. But I try to have it not be on the palm because
Yeah.
so then my palm can move on the gun whenever I go to draw the gun, if that makes sense.
So I put it on my palm, but I keep it off the inside of my fingers on my right hand.
Yeah, so I think that's the secret with the liquid grip enhancers is like you got to have a method for your application. Like with my powder stuff, like I just completely cover both my hands,
Yeah.
like all the way up
Yeah,
my
we've seen that.
wrist.
Yeah, we've seen
Yeah,
it.
all the way up, dude. I just like freaking cover them, right? And that's how I love it.
Have
But
you tried the Pro Grip spray?
no,
Because it's less tacky than the lotion.
or maybe I did try it and gave it away. I don't know.
So you might want. I mean, you might like if you're planning on messing with it again, you might want to try with the spray. And it's also a little bit easier to put in specific spots because you can like you just squirt it on, like you just spray it on and then let it dry without having to touch it. Whereas the lotion, it comes out in like a glob and then you have to kind of spread it. So the spray might be something for you to try if you haven't.
Isn't it Tyler Turner that made his own grip enhancer? He just like got chalk and then like put the gel with it and stuff.
That would not surprise me one bit if he did.
That seems like a fantastic idea. If you could just like, because then you could make it the consistency that you want and like super chalky.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's fairly doable. Like, I don't think it's that hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just haven't messed with it. So,
Mm.
and you could probably do it for much more economically. So I know that like you could probably like with all those crypto miners you got, probably like a half a day worth of mining would pay for a year's supply of the stuff if you wanted to make it yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For the YouTubes. These are my crypto miners back here. Right here. Should I start a whole new YouTube channel just for my crypto mining?
Oh yes, tell us all
Yeah.
about it.
Please, I can only imagine how many followers you would have talking about your crypto mining.
Tens
So
of 20s.
so many. No, that would take too much time. This is gonna take too much time. All right, that's all I got. That's all we're gonna do. That's an hour. That's a good stopping point. We thoroughly talked about grip enhancers,
I think
I
so.
feel pretty good about it.
Okay, to end the podcast, one New Year's resolution. Did you guys have any sort of? It can be. It doesn't have to be involved with the sport at all.
I didn't make any.
Made 0.
I want to mine a shitload of crypto. And I want to completely embarrass and decimate Jared and Jeremy in shooting this year. And just live life to the fullest. There you go.
Wow.
How about you? What are your New Year's resolutions?
I my my biggest New Year's resolution is, well, I've got to get in shape for my mule deer hunt. So like I'm trying to like just stay completely on top of that, like not like ever go lax on fitness at all. So I'm trying to stay working hard towards that. But really, my biggest one is it's not really shooting related, but like I'm trying to make my Sundays to just like I'm not doing any sort of work of any kind on Sundays. So like they're just for if I want to go shoot, have fun, I can do that. Like hang out with family, take the kids to do something, like go to
Yeah.
church. Like that's what my Sundays are for. Not so that means I got to be productive the other 6 days of the week. So that's going to be
Man.
the tough part.
That's a lot of pressure.
That is. But I think
Wow.
it'll be good if I can do it.
Squatch.
No, Sasquatch doesn't have any.
I didn't make
Oh.
any.
Oh, I got one more. I want to get this app rolled out. I want to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my other thing. Which
You're
I've
you're getting close to that though, right?
yeah. I'm just motivation is waning. But trying.
One other thing. So, is it the Ozarks match? Is that the match we were trying to go to in March?
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
Ozarks Classic. So, the Ozarks Classic. I don't know if anybody listens to this like is involved with that. I emailed I got an email saying if you want to help work the match, reply to this email. And so I replied to that email saying, hey, like the Hit Factor guys, like all 3 of us would like to RO a stage if we can for the match. And I got no response at all. So I don't know if they were
no. It means no, Jeremy.
I mean, that may be what that means is they're just like, yeah, please stay away. And that's totally fair.
Could be.
I would have preferred that they actually like just tell me, yeah, no, we're full, we don't want your help. Then I'm not left in limbo. But so like if there is somebody that like, I mean, I think it'd be fun if we could go, because we wanted to come like all 3 of us RO a stage together, and then I don't know, like give a hat away, like if we have hats made by then or shirts or something made, like give a shirt away per squad or something like that. Just
Yeah, something fun.
yeah, something fun because it'd be kind of fun just to do.
Give back a little because all we do is take.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. We're just
I would-
takers.
Yes, I would not be opposed to that because March is early enough in the season. I'm not too concerned with shooting, so working a match does not bother me.
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
there's any listeners that are involved with that match and they don't hate us, then like we'd be willing to help out. If you do hate us, that's understandable.
He's just saying that publicly. If you reply to the email, he's gonna delete it.
Probably not. I may screenshot it, like throw it on social media. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we know we got haters out there.
You're gonna reply. He's gonna delete it. And he's gonna get on here on the next episode, and he's gonna be like, "No one will freaking reply to me,
That's
guys."
right. Probably.
Okay.
All right.
Are you
Alright.
done? Are you done?
I'm done.
You better
I
be
got
because
nothing
I'm
else.
stopping recording right now.